If you can't blame a mythological make-believe black man, just blame a random black crackhead. See, there's levels of the blame a nigga thing. There's levels.
Subscribe to Unks, Crack Pipe number 2. Subscribe to Unks, Crack Pipe number 2. Subscribe to Unks, Crack Pipe number 2.
We're going to have to raise that self-esteem up and start handling things on code. We got to start thinking in code and codified thoughts. And stop falling for every trick the white supremacists roll out for us. For example, another thing, and we got to question stuff, family. We have to question everything. Just like down in Atlanta, you know, the freeway burned up, and we got Crispy in here. Don't worry, y'all get Crispy out of here. We got Crispy in here. But y'all know down in Atlanta, the freeway burned up, it caught on fire, and they conveniently blamed some black crackheads. So something is real fishy about that. Something is hella fishy about that fire, and it's being blamed on some crackheads. They said some, and they every news media outlet I saw, they specify it was a black crackhead. They make it very racial. The white supremacists love talking about the race card, but let a black person get accused of a crime. Oh, the blackness is the first thing they talk about. They're blaming the freeway getting burned up on some black crackheads. Now, the thing is, a crackhead didn't do all that shit. They said a crackhead lit a shopping cart and put it under the freeway. That sounds like a crock of bullshit. Crackheads are not arsonists. A crackhead, number one, they were like he was smoking crack. They're trying to make it seem like the crack from his crack pipe burned up the freeway, the way they making it seem. But it was some bullshit ass story about the crackhead lit a shopping cart and left the shopping cart under the freeway. And that's the city basically trying to get out of responsibility for fucking the freeway up, and you know, people got to take MARTA. Dude, that just seems real fishy. That just seems hella fishy. Because crackheads ain't trying to set no damn fires on buggies. Crackheads are not arsonists. Crackheads are just trying to get some more crack. That's their job. Ain't no money in arson. Crackheads are trying to get more crack. Crackheads, they don't do arson. Let's just be real. When was the last time you saw a crackhead burn up some shit? Crackheads don't, understand, even though motherfuckers don't crack, a crackhead is still practical. A crackhead is going to do something that's going to bring more crack. They're going to steal something. You'll steal a VCR. You'll steal some hubcaps. You'll steal a radio out of a car. A crackhead, what are you going to start a fire for? You're going to just light up a buggy. Crackheads don't do that. Crackheads don't really do a bunch of random crimes. All their crimes have to do with getting more crack. So you're not getting crack for your, man, I got to hit the pipe. I'm going to burn this buggy up. Let me use my one good crack match and burn this buggy up. Whoosh. All right, let me go get some crack. Does that make any fucking sense? That doesn't make no damn sense. So something is it is easy to blame a crackhead. You blame a crackhead for anything. Now, Richard Pryor was different because Richard Pryor was dealing with freebase. He wasn't crack. He was dealing with that ether. He was dealing with flammable material. No crackhead burned up half of the damn big fucking freeway like that. By no shopping cart. Even if there was a shopping cart under the freeway, why? What the hell was all the flammable material doing there? You know, that sounds like, you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of New York in the 1970s. They would blame, there were fires all over the Bronx in the 1970s. And they would blame black heroin addicts. They did the same thing in the 1970s. They would blame the black heroin addicts. They would always, buildings all on fire, all them whacked out niggas on that heroin. But later we found out it was really the building owners burning up those buildings in the Bronx. It was the white people burning them shits up and getting the insurance money out of the Bronx. It was them fucking up the Bronx and all of those buildings because heroin addicts, there's no reason for a heroin addict to burn up a fucking building. They've always blamed black drug addicts for stupid shit because they're black and they're drug addicts. Who's going to believe them? So there was a massive insurance fraud thing going on in the Bronx in the 70s. They were turning the shit into a war zone and blaming the black people for it. And understand, with Atlanta is being heavily gentrified. I know when I go to Atlanta, especially in the Midtown area, I see more. It looks like Nashville, Tennessee, all the white people I see down there, man. So there's a massive gentrification going on in Atlanta. They're pushing black folks out in the outskirts and all that. So something like this, a big fire, blame the Negroes, that just gives them more justification to keep pushing black folks out. You think I don't trust the white supremacists for nothing. Yeah, white supremacists, they commit arson. We don't do no arson, right? We don't do that shit. Especially a fire of that damn magnitude. Yeah, East Atlanta is gentrified. But a fire of that magnitude, I'm just not convinced a crackhead did all that, man. I'm just not, it's just too easy to blame a crackhead. And a black person, and make the black person be the fall guy. The white supremacists are good at blaming black folks. That's all they do. They come up with, they blame black folks who don't even exist. I've seen so many cases in the last month of white women talking about they got raped and abused and they done made up some mythological black man that don't exist. See, the thing is, the crackhead is the next step from the mythological make-believe black man. The crackhead is the next step from that. If you can't blame a mythological make-believe black man, just blame a random black crackhead. See, there's levels of the blame a nigga thing. There's levels. So the crackhead, the black crackhead, you can say he did anything. He ain't got no money for a lawyer. Nobody's gonna believe him. He has no credibility. He probably has a jail record. So the media knows how to play up his jail record and make him the fall guy. So they'll blame a black crack addict over anything if they cannot blame a mythological black person. Just like y'all remember Paul LePage, the governor of Maine. Now, Maine has a bunch of fucking meth heads. It's a bunch of meth heads in Maine. Instead of making the white meth heads in Maine responsible for their meth problem, this fool said, well, the meth problem is because you got blacks from New York named Lefty, Shifty, and D Money coming up here, selling the damn drugs, and getting the white women pregnant. He threw that in. So this fucking bastard, because you couldn't blame no Negroes in Maine, ain't none. It's only 2 niggas in Maine. So he had to blame black mythological niggas from New York on their drug problem. So they're gonna blame a nigga somehow. So if you get you a tangible crackhead, you can just go and drive around and say, hey, crackhead, come here. Where were you last Thursday? I'm smoking crack somewhere. Oh, okay, you're good. Okay, that's the suspect. That right here. He did it. What'd I do? You burned the bridge down. I did. Well, do I get some food in jail? What's he gonna do? Man. Smoothie, I know. Those old school made up white supremacist names. Man. But shout out to New York. Where are all my New Yorkers? Shout out to New York. Hold on. You know, in New York this week, did y'all notice they made this big announcement that they're going to be closing down the Rikers Island prison?